Hello friends, myself Bindu Prakash. I welcome to you all on behalf of my YouTube channel Elite Mind Institute by VP Dwivedi. Please do subscribe, share with your friends, okay? And just keep on learning with me. Your subscription definitely a kind of motivation for me to make more and more number of videos just to educate you and your friends, those who are in your neighbors. चलिए आज हम बात करते हैं एक नए टॉपिक के एंड द न्यू टॉपिक इज oogenesis एंड follicular development. Already I made a video about oogenesis, but again I am bringing the same topic along with the folliculogenesis because these two processes are taking place altogether. The oocyte present inside the follicle and both oocyte as well as the follicle undergo the various developmental stages altogether under the influence of various hormones or different hormones being secreted from ovary and different type of follicles. Very clear? चलिए बात करते हैं one by one slides की. Here I have tried to explain certain developmental changes in the reproductive system of male and female. I already made a video of the same topic in the beginning. If you just go through and check the development of sexuality in human being, then there you can find certain type of hormones like estrogen in female and testosterone in male fetus bring about various type of changes with respect to the development of their gonads, their duct system, whatever the entire reproductive system has. Okay, here I have tried to explain some chromosomal anomalies that occur in either male or the female. In most of cases, we say that a female should avoid getting pregnant beyond the age of 35. But it is not being said for the same for the male. The male should not plan for the child baby or beyond 40 or ever because certain differences are there in case of both male and female. Actually, if simply we try to understand, in case of human male, the chromosomal composition in case of human male, the chromosomal composition is XY type of chromosomal composition. And if spermatogenesis takes place, so during this spermatogenesis, the each of the sperm will receive either X chromosome or the Y chromosome. And in human male, this type of separation of chromosome or passing of chromosome into specific type of sperm is most of the time remain unaffected. But chromosomal anomalies are more in case of female. If you talk about the female, the chromosomal composition is X and X type, and when there is a meiotic division, chromosomal should separate like this. That means one of the oocyte, that is secondary oocyte, should have the X chromosome, and the polar body should have the X chromosome. Actually, in case of spermatogenesis, when takes place in human male, what happens? The spermatogenesis completes into one go. Very clear? While in case of the human female, this oogenesis remains suspended for some period of time. Like it starts from the fetal life and get arrested and remain arrested till next to 12 to the 13th year of age, and later the remaining follicles will also remain arrested in a specific phase. Very clear? So what happens? In case of human female, there is a more and more chances of chromosomal non-disjunction. Generally, when you study about the meiotic division, there is a chromosomal separation or non-disjunction of chromosome that I have shown over here, that the secondary oocyte and the first polar body should have each of the X chromosome in them. But if the condition of non-disjunction takes place, which taking place more often in case of the female beyond 35 year of age, then the functional ovum may have both of the chromosome and the polar body lack any of the chromosome in it. That means this, if working as a functional ovum, so will having both of the X chromosome. And in this case, if they are going to fertilize with the sperm having either X or Y chromosome, then they will result various type chromosomal anomalies. Like if the ovum having 2X chromosome fused with the sperm having X chromosome will result in the formation of super female XXY, or the ovum having 2X chromosome in it going to fertilize with the Y chromosome sperm, then Klinefelter syndrome. And if in place of this one structure, now this first polar body perform like an ovum and going to fertilize with the X chromosome. Composition will be X, so the Turner syndrome will result. Or similarly, there will be XXY type of super male will be there. So various type of chromosomal anomalies may arise, and the chances of chromosomal anomalies due to non-disjunction of chromosome, which is more prevalent in case of female beyond 35 years of age. Very clear? Or that is where it is said that a female should not think about the child before she consults to a very good medical practitioner. Very clear? चलिए तो आज बात करते हैं here the follicular atresia or atresial funnel. If we see in the fetal life 2 to 3 millions of follicles का formation होता है. The number of follicle produced in a human female are about 2 to 3 million follicles. Very clear? And by the time of birth, remain 2 million in each ovary. By the time of puberty, they are about 60 to 80,000 each ovary. And out of the 60 to 80,000 follicle, only 400 to 450 are producing an ovum. This means that there is a gradual reduction in the number of follicle. And this gradual reduction, what it is? The follicle undergo degeneration, and this degeneration of follicle is known as follicular atresia. Degeneration of follicles. Known as follicular atresia, and the follicle that is undergoing the process of atresia is called as atretic follicle. This follicular atresia is well programmed. It is a kind of apoptosis. Apoptosis is programmed natural death of cell. Every cell in our body has a specific lifespan, and after completing that lifespan, the cell dies and it is replaced by new cells. But in case of human female, if the old follicle dies, that means the follicle has undergone the process of follicular atresia. So if we say that as far as the other cells of the body, new cells are going to replace the old and dying cells, here new follicles are not being added in a female after birth. So number of follicles, that is the reservoir of the follicle, gradually decreases, and around the age of 50 there are no follicles in the ovary, and that is why the menstruation ceases. It means there is a menopause. So menopause is basically due to exhaustion of the follicles in a female ovary. Okay. Next topic, real account of the follicular development. This is that means now we are going deep into the topic. The primordial germinal cells as produced from the yolk sac migrate from this yolk sac and then reach to ovary, where they result in the formation of oogonia. The formation of oogonia takes place in the ovary as a result of multiplicative phase of primordial germinal cells. And now this oogonia undergo differentiation or the maturation phase, that is a kind of meiotic division, and result in the formation of primary oocyte. And in this primary oocyte, first meiotic division is arrested at diplotin phase. Means meiotic division already started but not completed, and that is why if a meiotic division or any kind of division occurring in a cell is not completing in one go, then once it going to resume after some time, it may result or it may attract certain type of chromosomal anomalies, like chromosomal non-disjunction will be there. And now this primary oocyte remains surrounded by some type of cells known as the specific type of cells are the granulosa cells. These specific cells, here we can say the granulosa cells are there. Follicular cell, the granulosa cell. Granulosa cells are there. Very clear? These are kind of granulosa cells, the follicular cells. Now this whole cell, basically here, the granulosa cells or follicular cells are somewhat flat in shape, or that is why this follicle having primary oocyte arrested in diplotin 1 is primordial follicle, where they are present the specific type of fibroblast cells called the stroma cells, and also the collagen fiber. These collagen fiber provide the mechanical support to the follicle in later developmental stages. So primordial follicle is the follicle that contains a primary oocyte arrested at diplotin of prophase 1 and surrounded by flat cells. Question arises in a mind, if the female child was having the primary follicle in the ovary, then why these follicles do not show the development after birth? The reason is that these follicular cells are the cells. These cells produce anti folliculogenetic factor. And due to this anti-folliculogenetic factor, follicular development remains suspended till the commencement of puberty. As when the puberty starts, there is a production of certain type of hormones, and the action of these hormones brings about inhibition of the action of anti-folliculogenetic factor. Okay, so this is the dormant stage where this oocyte surrounded by a single layer of the flattened cells. Later, there are more number of cells are produced, and now the granulosa cells are there. Very clear. This is the primary follicle where in case of primary follicle, there is a primary oocyte. This structure is primary oocyte and surrounded by cube-like follicular cells. And the whole structure is called as the primary follicle. Okay. So upon कह सकते हैं commencement of puberty, various changes taking place under the influence of ovarian hormones. Whenever the ovarian hormones or the anterior pituitary hormones are acting upon these primary follicles, now the primary follicles undergo further developmental changes, and in each month in a menstruation cycle, I want to say that whenever the menstruation cycle starts, so in each menstruation cycle 5 to 10 follicles begin their development in order to complete their development or bring about the production of an ovum. But out of them 5 to 10 follicle, only one follicle matures. So under influence of the hormones like FSH from anterior pituitary, follicle stimulating hormone or FSH being secreted, and this FSH brings about proliferation of granulosa cells. फर्स्ट ग्रेनुलोसा सेल का जो प्रोलिफरेशन होता है, दिस ग्रेनुलोसा सेल प्रोलिफरेशन of granulosa cell under influence of hormone, that is FSH or follicle stimulating hormone. Very clear. अब this follicular stimulating hormone will be secreted only after when the hypothalamus is also producing the hormone, gonadotropin releasing hormone. Here we'll talk differently. Now this FSH hormone brings about increase in the number or proliferation of these granulosa cells. So this follicle having large number of layers of the granulosa cells along with the primary oocyte, which is still arrested in first meiotic division diplotin stage, is called as secondary oocyte. And in this secondary oocyte, there is a specific of cells known as the stroma cells that I already shown in the previous slide. These stroma cells undergo division and start producing two layers. This outermost layer is the theca externa, and this inner layer of cell, this one, just go focus on the blue line. This cell represent at theca interna cell, while outer layer is theca externa. Theca जो externa है, this is totally protective or for mechanical support for growing follicle. Mechanical support. While theca interna जो है, this theca interna cell जो है, जो cells होती हैं, this theca interna cells are having role in a follicle as an endocrinal cell. So again, just I'm going to summarize. Under the influence of FSH hormone, first is the proliferation of granulosal cells, large number of layers of granulosal cells are produced. Primary oocyte still arrested in the diplotin stage. These stroma cells around the primary follicle start division also under influence of FSH hormone, resulting in the formation of two outer layer theca externa and inner layer theca interna. Theca externa is totally mechanical support purpose के लिए है. It having rich in collagen fiber. While जो theca interna layer है, that I have shown here with blue lines, you can focus on that. This theca interna cell has endocrinal function in a follicle. This overall follicle is called as secondary follicle. Just to keep in one mind, follicle has been changed from primary to secondary, but oocyte still remain as it is in primary oocyte stage. What kind of hormonal changes there? Actually, whenever the blood supply reaching to the ovary, so in blood there present the cholesterol. This cholesterol taken by theca interna cells, and in theca interna cell, the cholesterol converted into androgen and male sex hormone testosterone by the hormone LH. As I told, theca interna cell have some endocrinal function in a secondary oocyte, secondary follicle. So as soon as the cholesterol is being transferred from blood to theca interna cell under influence of FSH hormone convert this cholesterol into male sex hormone testosterone, that androgens, and this androgen passes through the basement membrane and reaches to the granulosa cells. And where granulosa cell convert this androgen or the male sex hormone into estrogen under influence of FSH hormone. This FSH hormone bring about activation or synthesis of a hormone known as aromatase, and in presence of this aromatase there is a conversion of androgen into estrogen. Means जो estrogen है वो androgen का derivative होता है. That derivation done by the enzyme aromatase enzyme. So theca interna cells are meant for converting cholesterol into male sex hormone androgen. Now this androgen crosses the basement membrane, reaches to two granulosa cells surrounding the oocyte, and now in these granulosa cells the androgen is being produced. So question will be there, what is which cells in the follicle are the source of estrogen? So answer will be granulosa cells, the source of estrogen. Up the main estrogen is 17 beta estradiol, simple estriol we can say. This estrogen is having very significant role in the female reproductive system. During menstrual cycle, this estrogen has two roles. One, it also supports the follicular development, and also at the same time it acts on a uterine endometrium for the regeneration or proliferation of the endometrium. Very clear? So this is the basically how the estrogen or the female sex hormone is being produced from granulosa cell. I have tried to explain with the help of this flow chart. Next, what happens in further development stages? As level of estrogen, follic and FSH hormone gradually increases, more number of granulosa cells are produced, and theca interna and theca externa are well defined. At the same time, these granulosa cells that surround the oocyte start producing a fluid, and this fluid get accumulated within the follicle. You can say in between the granulosa cells, and here this fluid collected जो cavity बनती है, this fluid containing cavity is known as antrum. That is why कि tertiary follicle is the follicle that characterized by the presence of antrum. Tertiary follicle को हम antral follicle भी कहते हैं. Very clear? Very good. So this one theca external layer. Okay, this is one theca external layer है. This is theca internal layer. Theca external layer, as I told, it is for mechanical support, only protective in function है. Non-vascular conditions present होगी. Theca interna work as an endocrine cells, bringing about conversion of cholesterol into the male sex hormone androgen or the testosterone. And then inside this theca interna basement membrane, and then the granulosa cells surround the early, कह सकते हैं, you can say surround this primary oocyte. Very clear. Now this structure is the early tertiary follicle where this primary oocyte already present. But what happens in further development stages within this primary follicle, within this tertiary follicle, this primary oocyte, this primary oocyte, this primary oocyte, this one is the primary oocyte. Sorry. This is the primary oocyte. Okay. The primary oocyte within the tertiary follicle completes its first meiotic division and result in the formation of secondary oocyte. So here the detailed structure within the tertiary follicle. The primary oocyte completes its first meiotic division, resulting in the formation of two cells of unequal size. One of them is the secondary oocyte and another one is the first polar body. The secondary oocyte contains maximum amount of the cytoplasm in it, which is rich in the nutrient, while this first polar body having least amount of the cytoplasm, or that is why in most of the cases this first polar body dies after some time or degenerates after some time, while this secondary oocyte, which has already completed its first meiotic division, accumulates most of nutrient rich cytoplasm, will complete its further development. But before ovulation, what happens over here? This secondary oocyte, which is the result of the first completion of first meiotic division of the primary oocyte, has already entered into metaphase. Okay, two stage, but metaphase two stage again are stated over here. Very clear? The antrum is fully developed. This is a completely fully developed follicle, and this fully developed follicle is said to be the Graafian follicle. Within this stage, here you can see one more structure is that zona pellucida. Zona pellucida is a non-cellular, non-living glycoproteinaceous layer is being produced by the secondary oocyte, but it will produce only after formation of Graafian follicle. Now, what happens in case of female? As this follicle is ready to ovulate, that means when this follicle is ready to ovulate, that means the first meiotic is completed and secondary oocyte is produced. Now there is a rapid increase in the hormone estrogen. Estrogen hormone suddenly increases. Okay, so this rapid increase of estrogen gives the positive feedback to hypothalamic anterior pituitary pathway and resulting in the increased secretion of LH hormone. This is called as LH surge. Rapid increase in the LH hormone being LH surge, and this LH hormone responsible for mechanism of ovulation. So whenever follicle is fully mature or the Graafian follicle is there, now this Graafian follicle will be acted upon by the hormone LH. So that is high level of LH hormone, that is abrupt increase in the LH hormone is said to be this LH surge, and this LH surge brought by the high level of estrogen. That is why this estrogen, when in high concentration in human female, gives the positive feedback to hypothalamic and anterior pituitary axis and resulting in the LH surge, and this LH surge will result in the process of ovulation, that is the release of secondary oocyte from the Graafian follicle. This is the trigger. Excess amount of LH causes immediate increase in the amount of antral follicle. That means this antral follicle will increase, and due to increase in the antral follicle, the pressure is exerted, and due to the pressure, this secondary oocyte comes out. So the thing is that overall this slide help to solve one question, that which hormone is necessary for ovulation or bringing secondary oocyte out of Graafian follicle. That will be the LH hormone. Very clear? And if LH hormone is there, so what is the cause of high concentration of LH? So the cause of high concentration of LH is high estrogen. Very clear? So what happens? Once the secondary oocyte has been released, So the range only remaining left follicle is empty, remaining follicle there with us. So this empty remaining follicle again acted upon by the hormone NH hormone, and during this LH hormone, granulosa cells undergo the luteinization. During the luteinization, the cells are rich in endoplasmic reticulum, mitochondria, lipid content, and protein. These appears yellowish in color. Very clear. And now this structure is known as corpus luteum, which mainly produces hormone progesterone. This is the corpus luteum which mainly produces the hormone, and it is maintained by LH. It turns distinctly yellowy due to the high concentration of cholesterol and lutein pigment. That means corpus luteum is yellow body or yellow color structure rich in cholesterol and yellow color lutein pigment protein वजह से होती है. This corpus luteum is mainly meant to produce hormone progesterone. This corpus luteum not only producing progesterone but other hormone like estrogen, relaxin, inhibin are also being produced from this corpus luteum. So once the ovulation has taken place, LH hormone again acts on this empty follicle, resulting in the form luteinization of granulosa cells. As a result of that, these granulosa cells are rich in cholesterol lutein pigment. These cells having large number of endoplasmic reticulum, mitochondria, lipid content appears yellowish and now said to be corpus luteum, which is the mainly responsible for secreting progesterone, or that is why the level of progesterone in a female increases after ovulation. Once the secondary oocyte is being released, that means ovulation has taken place. Now this corpus luteum mainly secreting progesterone. What will be the fate of this corpus luteum? Where the corpus luteum will sustain or will degenerate? So my dear friend, the future of this corpus luteum mainly depends upon the event that is fertilization. If fertilization happens, then this corpus luteum maintained till the 9 month. That is now the corpus luteum is known as corpus luteum of pregnancy. Because why is it necessary to maintain? Actually, this progesterone is the hormone that I will discuss in detail in the topic menstrual cycle, is basically responsible for to maintain uterine endometrium. Very clear. In order to maintain uterine endometrium, progesterone is one of the most significant hormone. And if corpus luteum degenerates, the level of progesterone will decrease and resulting condition when embryo will not implant on the endometrium. So if fertilization happens, then this corpus luteum will be maintained till next 9 months, and now the corpus luteum is known as corpus luteum of pregnancy. This continuously produces large amount of progesterone which maintains the endometrium for implantation and continuation of pregnancy. If the fertilization does not happen, then what happens? This corpus luteum degenerates in next 14 days. If the cycle is of 28 days, to 1 to 14, this is the time of ovulation. Very clear. And then this is 28th day. So what happens? If ovulation is taken place, fertilization taken place, then the corpus luteum will remain functional till 9 months. And if by chance fertilization fails, that means released oocyte is not being fertilized with the sperm, then this corpus luteum will degenerate on 20th day, and there is no progesterone due to degeneration of corpus luteum, and the bleeding will start. You can say the menstrual discharge is start. Now this degenerating follicle change into white color structure known as corpus albicans. So corpus albicans is degenerating corpus luteum. It is white color scar, and it is going to be produced only when there is a failure of fertilization of the released secondary oocyte. I hope I could make you to understand the entire process of folliculogenesis. Thank you, dear friends. God bless you all.